All right, everybody, we got a small, intimate class here. This is good.
We want everybody in the front row here, so that's
Let's go ahead and get people to move up a little bit. There must be a lot of people at GrowthCon who do not have problems hiring losers. I want you to sit right here. We're going to use you as an example for the entire time.
I like hiring losers, so I'm here.
All right, guys, so cool. So we'll get this going. First and foremost, I have a little bit of a ritual. If you were in my last class with Annie, you guys already know what it is. I always start out every class the same way. I'm going to do something. You guys are going to have to be very loud because you are a small crowd, and I want the rest of the people to hear us. So I'm going to do it, the first part, and then you're going to do the second part, and then we're going to start moving. Fair? Was that good enough? One more time. I want a little bit more volume, a little bit more feeling. Okay, that sounded at least like twice the class that time. So, all right, guys. So, I am honored, beyond honored, to be teaching up here with Minesh. He is absolutely fantastic. Found out a little bit more about him that I didn't know about, but married, 2 wonderful kids, speaker. His kids are speakers with TEDx, and you homeschooled them. So, small known fact, the last 6 years of my school journey were homeschooled. That's why I play miniature golf and not basketball. But I'm smarter than the average person every once in a while. So, my wife will never tell me that, but that's okay. So, but I'm very honored to be here with you. You are the leading expert that I know in my life when it comes to disc. I've learned so much over the last number of years. And this class's name is kind of funny. When Amir first came out with it, I was like, oh. But then I realized there's a book. You guys will all have access to. But my man here, really. It's great. So, Minesh?
well, first of all, give a round of applause to Stephen. One of the best things about it, when I say this, I really mean it. I look up to you.
So this is our really, really bad rendition of twins. Is it okay if I call you Donnie?
You are welcome to call Johnny. Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, how many of you can realize that I was born in Orlando, Florida? Okay, a couple of you can. Obviously, I was born in a city called Agra. How many of you have heard of Agra? What is Agra famous for? Taj Mahal. So thank you, that was good. Indian, fine. So my accent is different and I do tend to speak fast. So if I do speak too fast, you're not understanding it, stop me, interrupt me. Stephen can interpret for you, or my daughter Macy here can interpret for you better.
I haven't understood anything you said so far.
Pardon? Macy can help you with that, right? So I'm so glad Stephen brought his beautiful wife Jackie there, his children Grace and Jasmine there. So give a round of applause for those people. My daughter Macy is here. My family usually travels with me as well. We live about 90 minutes here from Orlando in a small town called Pompos between Daytona and St. Augustine. Just to give you a quick background, before I give you my background, Stephen Zen is a phenomenal success story. Now he's humble in other programs and everywhere else. He was winning more than what the other people who were teaching were. Isn't that amazing, right? He was amazing all the time. But he has gone through his own struggles. You know, he's been married for what, 21 years now? Mm-hmm. Congratulations to you, and obviously congratulations to her for keeping up that as well. The main thing is, we want you to understand, this is family. This is not about, hey, we are personal, professional. No, like Amir is saying, it's an intersection. And I homeschool my children because I wanted to have that. I'll give you a little bit story first, because I will give you this backdrop for that. Here's what happened. I was a good student. I had my bachelor's in electrical engineering, master's in systems from the same college that the Google CEO went to. Okay, so I was a geek. Unfortunately, I hated my job. Anybody hated their jobs? So I stuck up with computer programming for 12 years, and though I had the knowledge and the skill, but doing something mundane day to day didn't really work out for me. Like sitting at a desk, not talking to people is not me. So over 12 years, it was really a lot of suffering. So 2 different jobs, changing jobs, laid off, etc. At some point, I'm like, this is not going to work for me. And that's when I decided to become a speaker, author, and a coach. I published 12 books. I started my career in speaking, writing, coaching in 2000. And here is the reason I'm mentioning that. I did not know that there were assessments available that could help you determine what would be a good job for you. Had I taken that assessment, or my school and other people had helped me with these assessments, this being one of them, I would not have entered the profession that I did. The reason I mention that is the people you are hiring don't know what they are good at, not good at, what is natural to them, what is not natural to them. So if you don't take assessments like this when you're hiring people, guess what will happen? They will apply for a job they're not supposed to take up. You'll end up with somebody like me who was good on resume, good in interview and everything else, except doesn't really fit the job. So how many of you want to work hard, go through the resumes, interviews and everything else, and then find out 3-6 months later, it's like, what did I do wrong? This seemed like a perfect fit. And that's what happens. A lot of times people come to me saying, Minesh, this person looked perfect, but I don't see anything really happening here. This is not working out well. What should I do next? And that's the reason you want to make sure you're using tools and assessments that we are teaching today and how to use them, so you end up in a situation where you are hiring the right person for the job, which is really, really critical. That's the most important part. Now, some of you who don't know me, I've known Amir for quite a long time. I used to do training at his office. So for those, how many of you would like to get a copy of the book, Stop Hiring Losers? Very good. So we'll give away a few here. If you still want physical copy, you can get in touch with me. If you want the digital copy, just go to stophiringlosers.com and you can download the whole book for free. I have some more goodies that I can send to you later, which are very practical items as well. So where I'm going with this is very simple. Over the last 25 years, I have reviewed over 10,000 employee assessments. Would you agree, after looking at 10,000, I have a little bit of knowledge of what assessment should look like? Okay? Not only that, at least 100 of them earn well over $1 million a year. Do you think I have a pattern about the people who earn over $1 million a year by now, right? So the reason I'm like Amir, I've seen his, Stevens as an example and so on. I've seen these reports. So what we are sharing today is not theory. In fact, Steven, over the last 5 years, has had a fantastic team because he applied these principles in his business. So he's talking from his own experience of what is working for him. I'm more on the outside. I'm not a loan officer, real estate agent here, but I have done this for thousands of loan officers and realtors around the country. All I want you to understand is any question you have related to this, between Steven and I, we should be able to answer those questions for you. If you don't have time for it, just get hold of me later. It will not be a big problem at all. I feel privileged that I have a chance to do this with Steven. For Amir, Amir is phenomenal. I've seen him where he was to where he is today. I will tell you, this is nothing short of amazing on the journey that he has been on. So you're all in for a great treat. So Steven, do you want to start? He had put together the booklet, so he knows what the booklet looks like better than me. So Steven, go ahead.
So we've had some nice success stories first, and I'm so great. I've had the same team for 5 years, and that's really cool. But prior to that, I went through 20 people in 2 years. So I got real good at messing it up before I figured it out. So, and at that time, I was in a different coaching program where I got introduced to Minesh's program and DISC. What's DISC about? And I started really studying it, and I started really understanding what the problem was. So, you guys, anybody have puppies? Cool. So, anybody have little tiny puppies? So here's the thing about puppies I want to talk to you guys about real quick, because I hired a whole bunch of puppies. They're cute. They make the kids smile a lot. They lick your face. They're like, oh, I love them so much. Then they chew up the furniture. They poop everywhere. True example right now. And they cause a whole bunch of problems, and they're the hardest employee to ever get rid of. Because Javi, my golden doodle, will never leave my house because my kids will execute me. Slowly but surely as I get older. So hiring a puppy means that you're hiring the wrong person for the job, period. Somebody that everybody loves. somebody that everybody enjoys being around. You yourself absolutely love and adore this person. But then they mess up your relationship with the realtor. Then they mess up the file with the client. And then it's so hard to get rid of them, right? So this is one of the things that helped me stop hiring puppies. And helped me start doing it the right way. So, who is familiar with DISC whatsoever? Cool, what does the D stand for? Dominant. Driver. Dickhead. Sometimes. Okay? I'm a very high D. I've had those moments. I had to learn to be a bit better of a leader. So one of the things I really like to always focus on is motivators and fear. So without looking at the booklets, what do you think a high D's fear is? Control. Loss of control. Fear of being taken advantage of. But knowing these things, you know how to adapt to that person a lot more, and if they're in the right position or not. What about high I? What does that stand for? Influence. Also insanity. Because a lot of times when they're a high I have a high I for a daughter back there. Her name is Jazzy, it all fits. And she's a little crazy, and we love her. But she's very influential. She's very out there, outgoing. She's an extrovert. And she's also a little crazy. How about the S? Stable. Steady. What percentage of the world is an S?
78%.
I would say closer to 40.
40? So if all else fails, you're probably talking about us. And then C. What is the C? Cautious, critical, conscientious. The different mix of these matter with our teammates. So how does a ID work out for a teammate?
So here is the part that I think, here is the part I want you to really understand. Everybody can be good for some job, but not all the jobs. Does that make sense to you? Right? Okay. The problem happens, like he said, you fall in love with a puppy which you want to make that person into anybody that you want, which really doesn't work very well. Okay. So here is my general advice to people. Unless it's a more independent position, don't hire anybody with a D above 50. Because that person will clash with you. They will not take orders easily from you. And that's one of the biggest problems with high Ds in any role. I have a very successful loan officer. The moment he looks at it says D, he's like, cancel the interview. Don't go any further. Because he knows if the D is high, he will clash with that person. Have you had that experience too?
100%. So I hired somebody with my exact profile. So this is me, D-I-S-C. On the natural scale. We'll talk about adaptive as we go through this. But I hired a sales manager, and you guys will never believe this, but we may have butted heads a little bit. Because he didn't want to listen to me. He wanted to be. Also, I was a poor leader because I didn't give him a proper path to achieve that. And if I would have understood who I hired in the first place, I would have been able to say that, hey, this is what I say to all my employees now. For the first 2 years you're going to work for me, you are going to cost me money. For the second 2 years, you are going to make me money. Then for the 5th year, if you want to be the next Steven Zinn, I'm going to help you do it. That way, if it was a D, it probably would have escalated quicker than that, but at least I gave him a path. Instead, I gave him a roadblock and he took half my business on the way out. That was a very expensive bad hire. But again, if I was a little bit smarter back then, and if I was a little bit further along my path with understanding DISC, I would have seen that, oh, I should not give him control of anything, except for his own book of business and help him with that. So, too low of a D. What does that get us?
So here's what happens. When somebody is a high D, they love taking on challenges and they are quite often taking the initiative a little too soon. Does that make sense to you? Whereas the other side, when the D is extremely low, they cannot make any decision. And if they cannot make any decision and you give them even a small decision to make, you will end up with a situation where somebody is not doing what they're supposed to do. They don't understand priorities. Like you have priorities on what's important to you in your business, who is more important, where should you put the money in, etc., etc. There was one of my clients, he gave his assistant the job of depositing a check in the bank. And then she goes there, the bank is closed, and next day he asks her what happened. Oh, it was closed, so have you not gone back to deposit it? No, I have not. He was a real estate agent funding a deal for buying a property. He's upset. He's like, don't you understand that was the most important thing to do? But guess what? She's not a high D enough, she can't make decisions. So the moment he's giving an important decision to make, she's going to freeze. And you got to be extremely detailed in giving priorities and deadlines. Because if you don't do that, they will make mistakes. Go ahead.
So having a flatline D means that this person's not going to be assertive. And that's okay, but they need clear and concise instructions, period. So if you guys open up your pamphlet here to the D, I want to talk about the do's and the don'ts because this actually hits home a lot because I am a high D. Do's, be direct, clear, and concise. Focus on results and measurable outcomes. Give them control and decision-making power. Present challenges as opportunities to win. Respect their time and intensity. Now, under the don'ts, I have a sales manager who's also a high D, low I. Can't talk to realtors to save his life. Okay, that's why that works. But I have a sales manager who finally understood after I coached the entire team on this. Steve, I'm so sorry. You must be losing your dang mind when I'm telling you about something because I don't get to the point fast enough. Like, yes, listen. Because I'll literally claw my eyes out if I have to listen to the story for more than 30 seconds. Just get to the dang point and move on. So don't waste time with fluff. Don't appear indecisive and weak. Don't let us feel powerless. Okay? Big pieces. So the I on the next page. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you think about the I, Minesh?
I'm a high I, so I know very well what that looks like. So how many of you are high I? Okay? Some of you are a combination, right? If you are out there talking to people, the easiest thing to recognize who's an I is they have a smile on their face most of the time. If you see a smile and someone who talks relatively at a fast pace, animated, positively, that's an I. It's an easy one to recognize. So again, going back to, we'll cover this again later because some people are asking how do I recognize different profiles. We'll cover that a little bit later to help you understand, but seeing a smile makes it easy. An I wants to be center of attention. They love being listened to. Their brain has only one conversation in their brain called, who can I talk to who will listen to me? That's it. It's not more complicated than that. And if you don't pay attention to that, you'll end up having a problem. Now you might have some real estate, how many of you have some real estate agent friends who are very high I? Because real estate agents seem to be quite often high I. As you can see, what do you want to do with them? Be warm, enthusiastic, and personable. Because they're not task-oriented. Recognize them publicly and often. Like words of affirmation that Amir was talking about in the time class. Give them creative freedom, provide opportunities for social interaction, and keep the environment fun and engaging. What are they afraid of or they don't like? Don't ignore or exclude them. Because the moment you exclude them, they feel like they are rejected. And that's a bad feeling for them. And if they feel rejected, they're not going to want to be around you. Don't overly structure or confine them. They don't want structure. It's like I should be able to free flow, do what I want. Don't dwell only on problems. Don't minimize their enthusiasm. Don't let that energy drop, because that won't help you. Social rejection is what they're afraid of, loss of approval or influence, being ignored or left out like we talked about.
And Minesh, I just wanted to say how amazing of a job you just did. It was really, really good.
He's good at it, isn't he? Thank you.
Which is one of his greatest motivators. Okay? One of the reasons that Minesh is such an amazing public speaker is he feeds off of it. When he gets that vibe from everybody, and I have a little bit of this too, so make sure you're engaged. But we feed off of it. When we're a high, we enjoy that, and it drives us and it builds us. So those are things to really pay attention to. Again, in the world of employees, you got to watch your high because they'll derail your system sometimes if they don't have stabilizers, which is the S and the C. Tell us about the high S, my friend.
How many of you understand S? Steadiness. These are the people who won't show too many expressions. They don't want changes. Generally, they're looking for status quo. And the best part about them is they're supportive team players. So if you want to do that, so let's just go through the do's and don'ts. Be patient, calm, and consistent. That's what you want to do with them. Give clear instructions and time to adjust. Recognize their reliability privately. Provide stability and routine. Encourage teamwork and collaboration. What do they not like? Don't surprise them with sudden change. Don't tell them, hey, I need you to make a change now. Give them enough notice, right? Don't overlook their contribution, because even though they are not loud, they still want to be recognized. And they are recognized mostly as people holding the team as a glue. Don't push them into conflict. They hate conflict, which is why D's and S's are opposites. A D loves conflict, and S hates conflict.
So how many of you leaders that know your D's understand that you're killing your team sometimes because you like the battle, you like the argument, you like the debate? They do not. Clear and concise, the compliment sandwich, whichever way you want to take it. Let them know what they're doing good. Do not battle it out with them. They don't need that. So again, going back to my little girls, Grace is a high S, high C. Very artistic, very, very steady. So it's the way that we talk with people. Mainly what ends relationships is not understanding each other. And that's why looking at this and getting really good at it will build you a rock solid team. So it's only when I started doing this consistently that the team evened out. And that's why they've been with me for 5 years, and I haven't looked at my phone or talked to anybody at work since last Friday. And it's still working as fine. I think. If I go back and it's all in smoke and ash, I'll let you guys know. So cool, we're gonna go on to the C. So the C is your engineer mind. So all those people that come to you with no expression, they just want you to get to the cold hard facts right away. They've done all the research. They're the hyper rate shoppers of all rate shoppers. They're the C. Okay, now there's mixes. Again, if they're a pure C, which we don't see many pures, meaning that you're just one column. But if they're pure, they're emotionless, just cyborgs. But you want to present them with facts. You want to get to the point with them. They have that similarity with the high D. Don't beat around the bush, get directly to the point. But they're going to be very critical thinkers. Underwriters are high Cs in most cases. Some good LP2s have a lot of high C. My definitive LP2 is a mid-range I, all the way up high S, and about 75% C. Perfect build. Does what he's told, needs a checklist, needs to be kept in line because he doesn't have the big assertiveness in the D. But he's very good at what he does and he doesn't make mistakes. That high C contributes to that. What else do we say about the high C?
They follow a process. To them, method is more important than the result. How you do something is more important than whether you are getting the result or not. Like my wife is a high S and high C. Guess what? She's always able to tell me why I should change my way of doing something. I'm a high I don't follow a process. You see the difference? So that's what I would say about high C.
And we can make high C insane because we are chaotic. You guys understand that all salespeople that are hunters, there's hunters and there's cooks. Our cooks are LP1, LP2, LP3, those are our cooks. The hunters are the ones that are going out there and getting the food, making the kill, bringing the business in. And we are walking chaos. And that's what they have to put up with. But the really good ones understand it, and they're able to help channel things. That's how the team works with that perfectly. So, LP1, you guys have gone through a circle and you have your LP1, LP2, LP3 job descriptions, right? This is the perfect disc profile for that. Okay? We didn't take people who are managing your calendar, managing your phone a little bit for you. High S, high ISC. That's the good build for that. Again, the LP2, just like I said before, ICS. Those are the main ones that we want on that. And then LP3, C, S, and D, low I. I don't need a personality for a processor. What I need is somebody who's going to get it done, able to talk to people, so I don't want a complete flatline I, but somebody who's going to be able to be critical. Yes?
So I would imagine on like LP1, LP2, we don't want completely devoid of D because we want them to be able to make some level of decisions on their own.
Yes.
Without taking everything and running with wherever they are.
Yes, but you also can give them a lot of instruction and you can lead them. So part of it is, having a little bit of the mid-range D has assertiveness. So if it's completely flatline, it might be a little bit of a worry, but you're going to be giving them a lot of instruction.
So I feel like if there's like no D, then it's more prone to like micromanagement.
Not micromanagement, leadership, direction. So you're not going to be hovering over them, making sure that they've done everything. They're going to do everything that you tell them to do, but you have to give them a process.
So better, yeah. So more like, hey, I have to like baby step you on everything.
Yeah, if you want somebody who's going to pick up a broom if there's nothing else going on, that's probably not that person. That's the difference. That's the assertiveness that I believe is missing. So Spencer Gray is the perfect LP2 that I mentioned before that has the low D. He's an absolutely fantastic employee. He was also the only one to reach out to me during his vacation and ask me a question. Because he wasn't assertive enough to take care of himself. So that pops up from time to time. Outside of that though, pristine. So there's little bobs and weaves with everything. Nothing's absolutely perfect.
So let me add to that. So I use a certain profile company for my risk assessments, and I'll give you what I have found to be consistent. Here is the bottom line you want to remember. In a branch like yours, you want somebody who can wear different hats. Now, if you put that person in a role in a company where they have an R&D department and all these other things, that's different. There you need very, very specialized people, and you could get away with certain types of profiles. In a branch like yours, you need somebody who's going to be doing different things. So they have to take an application or some information, but they also have to be nice to the customer. You know what I'm talking about, right? So my experience shows that typically I want the I, S, and C to be between 50 and 70 for LP1 and LP2.
Between 50 and what percent?
70. The D, somewhere about 20, not too high, to go to 30, 40, 50, because that would be dangerous. Is that making sense to you? And like the report says, the LP1 will have higher I compared to high C. Does that make sense to you? When I use the word high, I mean over 50. So an LP1 will be, the I number will be above C. So let's say the I number is 70, the C number might be 50, 60. Is that helping you understand where I'm coming from? Like very specific. On the other side, the LP2 will have a higher C because they have to pay more attention to detail compared to I. Anybody understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like I'm being very clear based on the numbers I've already seen in the market. Does it help?
So let's actually get some questions going from you guys for a little bit. I want to make sure that this is interactive.
Correct.
You guys are able to get a whole lot of stuff out of this because when you do the QR code, it has to. You're going to mark 10.
Yes.
But then in the comments, you're going to say it should have been a 12. All right. Anyway. So questions, guys.
If Steve alone led the workshop, it would have been 12.
Microphone. Microphone. Do we have a microphone?
Christy, I'm sorry.
Gentleman right here, in the white.
Christy is a high eye.
Regarding, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Regarding like an LP1, if the I is like super high and the S is following it very low, is that also a problem, or do you want it close together?
Yeah, I'll give you a clear answer to this. Do not hire people with any high I, high S, high C, high D, very high numbers above 70 ever. If you can. Obviously, sometimes you might find an exception here and there. But the moment the numbers go above 70, you're going to have problems. Because this is what happens, they're not flexible. The reason you want them flexible is because in a job like what they will be doing in your environment, they need to be very flexible. They need to be able to take a customer's application and data, put that in correctly, while also making the customer feel great. Would you all agree with me on that? Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Purple. Wait for the mic.
Alright.
I'm just calling out your color shirts, so just, you know.
I have two, but one is a quick question at the beginning. You said anybody with over a 50% D is going to try to be the boss?
Yeah, they are usually going to be tough to handle.
And then the second one was, where is it that you would have your prospective employees do the DISC test?
Where?
Like what website, or how do we have
Oh, I
access?
can send that to you separately.
Okay.
I can send that to you separately, would be better rather than announcing the link and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's a couple different
But just
places.
get in touch with me, I'll tell you what to do. Yeah, thanks.
Couple different places to do it. The one thing that I will say, like Tony Robbins offers a free one, doesn't work that well anymore. You gotta have a graph. You gotta have the vision.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Mike?
Oh, sorry.
Trying to be a good boy and wait for Mike.
I appreciate you so much, Sean.
So I use WiseHire, actively looking for an LP2 right now, struggling with the search.
Yep.
But WiseHire specifically obviously gives the disc. So I'd like your take on WiseHire's version of disc, if you like it, you don't like it. And then WiseHire also gives the chart graph of motivators. Any feedback on that would be great as well.
Sure. You want to go first or do you want me to go first?
So there's not a lot of bad disc reports out there that I've seen. So again, if they don't go deep enough and actually show you some graphs on stuff, I think that that's poor in that area. So I think WiseHire is fine, number one. If it shows the motivators, that's good to come up with good interview questions. Don't you agree? To go a little bit deeper.
Yes, I would say so. Are there any I know we're not necessarily talking about the motivators in WiseHire, but are there motivators to stay further away from, I guess is the question.
Well, it's a good point. So I will tell you. So I typically don't recommend only DISC. So during hiring process, you use DISC and the other report is called motivators. Don't hire just based on one. And the reason is, DISC will give you the behavior style of the person. The motivators will tell you what really motivates that person. And there are 6 motivators without going into detail. But the bottom line is, if the motivator number 1 is money, regardless of what the DISC says, they are going to be better in sales or similar situations.
That was because I get a lot of super high economic motivators.
Yes, then you are in trouble. Don't hire them for LP1, LP2 ever. It just doesn't work. Okay? And the second one is individualistic. Individualistic is somebody who wants to be in charge of creating their own destiny. Guess what? They're not going to be good people to be managing. Because most real estate agents, loan officers, they're going to be high in individualistic. And that's somebody who wants their own path in their own career. And if you hire those people, regardless of their disc, you're going to be in trouble. Sean, did I answer your question there? Yeah. So you want more details on that? Again, the book Stop Hiring Losers does cover that. But also if you want specifically, I have broken it down into as detailed as possible on YouTube videos and stuff. So you just watch a few videos. I've designed the graph for everything so that you and that's all free to you, so you don't have to pay for it. You can just get that information.
Can I get a copy of the book for asking that question about motivation?
Oh yeah, that's good. So let's give him something. We need to start giving away the book. We don't have very much time here. We need to give away. We have 3 more books plus, so we have 4 books to give away. And Steven, you can decide which ones to give away. Go ahead, Steven.
We'll see. So we'll get there. You have a question?
So we've been talking about hiring, but I have a loan officer that I inherited,
And I'm having a hard time nailing her down. Like there's not a clear high. It's like situational. So I don't want her to feel threatened, but I've thought about asking her to do a disc just to help with our communication style together. Sure. But I'm not exactly sure how to approach that without her feeling threatened due to the personality I do see from her. I went to this great conference and they told me that this would help with my relationships with my employees, so I'd love for you to do this so I can understand and work with you better and treat you better.
So do I need a guy?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If all else fails, blame your coach.
Exactly.
I'm not even kidding. Larry Montani once made me go and do an All About You form, and I hated it. And I went to the realtor. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get fined if my stupid coach is making me do this. Can you please do it?" 7 deals later, working with her. So yeah, blame us always. That help?
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Do you advise doing a disc test on yourself?
Heck yes.
And then how do you know what's going to pair best with your personality?
Okay, can I answer that question?
Please.
Okay, good. So the answer is very simple. How many of you would like a free $200 plus value disc for you for free? How many? Okay, good. Send an email to me, or first of all, go to stopfightinglosers.com, download that. Each one of you here. Don't tell that to people outside because that's how I make my money, okay? You will get that free gift from me, and I'll take a few minutes to walk you through as well. Because I realize there are a lot of people who need to use it but don't know where to start. Would that help you? Good. You had a question?
Okay, so I came on as an LP2 for a loan officer for 6 years before she moved out of the business and I stepped in as the originator. So when I'm looking to hire, I have this idea in my head that I want somebody as loyal as I was to the loan officer that I worked for. Now, I don't think that's super realistic. In my head, I don't think that's super realistic given that my child is only 2 years old and won't be coming to work for me anytime soon. So what does that look like to want to hire for somebody loyal, somebody that wants to help grow your business? But like, what does that actually end up looking like within the personality types? And is that actually a good idea to find somebody that you want to be loyal to you?
Yes, 100%. So, may I take this one?
Yeah, sure.
So, in the disc profile, I mean, it could be a range of different pieces with that. The S is important though. Stability, stable, okay? So we want to make sure that, number one, it's not just about the profile though. Because you can have the perfect profile to be a soldier, to be a teammate, and if you don't have the leadership involved and the direction and the vision, then it all falls apart. Because you're not giving that person what they need. So that's very much so available. They're out there, but you have to talk with them, ask them a lot of questions, and give them a path so they feel stable and secure. Because if you put them into the chaos that we live in, they'll leave quickly.
So there's probably some heavy lifting on my end to make sure I'm laying out the roadmap, hey, here's where I'm at, here's what we're building, here's where we're going. And I take high responsibility for making sure I provide the stability and security for you.
You do your job, they do their job, everything works out.
Yeah.
Great awareness. Very good for you.
So I want to kind of switch gears for a moment and talk about love languages in the workplace. So first, without looking at our little booklets, because I'm going to give away a book this time, who can tell me the 5 love languages? I'll pick on you first. Microphone.
Gifts.
Yep.
In case anybody was wondering, that is my love language. Touch.
Physical touch, yep.
Affirmations.
Where's
acts
affirmation?
of service.
Service.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yep.
And quality time.
Still gonna give it to you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so next book that I'm gonna give away is gonna be on this one. If your love language is acts of service, Is it good or bad to hire an employee in a support position whose love language is acts of service? Okay, next. Anybody else? That? Wrong. Now here's why. Do you guys understand why the love language test has been so important? It's because my love language is acts of service. I love people how I feel loved. It's the great mistake. Yours is gifts. So I bet you buy people gifts every once in a while to show love. So that's one of the conundrums of it all. But making sure that everybody in the workplace is taking the love language test. So you understand that when someone's love language is words of affirmation, and I could give a crap if any of you guys tell me I'm a good coach, good job, good idiot. It's not on my radar. And gifts for me, big fat 0. But my wife, my lovely wife back there, her gifts is up there. So what does she buy me all the time? Stuff. Because she's showing me love that way. That's how she knows love. But she also knows that my love language is acts of service, and she understands how to play into that now. Yes?
I would like for you to share how this applies to physical touch.
High five, buddy, man. Yeah, that was a great question. Come back to you. Any other questions? Fist bumps?
You know what? You did that beautifully.
So, but in all seriousness, it's always the one that comes up. Yes? Microphone. So sorry.
I think they have that 5 love languages for business or for
They do.
employees.
They do.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. So, but I mean, if you're dealing with someone whose love language is words of affirmation, that means you need to pat them on the back. Something that we forget about all the time. We're so in the zone. Next deal, next phone call, next phone call. I'm going to tell that realtor how great they are. But who is your number one client? Your team. Your team is your number one client. So knowing what they need to fill their cup is extraordinarily important. Quality time. That can get out of control. If you hired a puppy, that's not going to work out well for anybody. But spending time, training, coaching, being there for them to answer questions, this is a very important piece. Yes, microphone.
I was just going to ask, can you guys speak to the characteristics in a loan officer if you're looking to hire loan officers? We talked about LP1s and LP2s, but are there any things to really watch out for when you're considering hiring a loan officer? Like if they're if they have the maybe obvious desired traits of maybe a 50 or 70% D, what sales stuff that might be bad or problematic? I guess can you just give me a little bit more color on that?
Why don't you run with that?
So for loan officers, the first thing I look for is motivators. Is their money motivation high enough? Because if their money motivation is not high enough, they're not going to succeed as an LO, most likely. So that's the place I would go first. Then I look at managing them through the behavioral style, which is a DISC. So if they're very high D, like for example, Amir is a high D. Do you think all the coaches are pretty much high Ds as well, right? Pretty much, right?
Yeah, we're all
motivated. Yep. So how does somebody like Amir then bring along a team of such high Ds and stuff? Number one, you have to have very high leadership skills. You have to have enough of a record where other people will follow you. Is that making sense to you? So if you're going to be building a branch with a lot of loan officers, you better have your game to the next level. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you. At some point, they'll just leave you. Does that make sense to where I'm coming from?
That leans into leadership a lot.
Yeah.
So there has to be a vision in place. There has to, for us insane people, we have to have someone that we can follow.
Yeah.
And that's you got to step up the same way with hiring loan officers.
And she's close by this.
Okay, so when you're a high D and you know you're crazy, like crazy enough, I drive myself crazy most of the time, and I just hear people in the office sometimes laugh at me because I'm that crazy. When you're working with your team, right, your processor and your LP2, like I have a shared branch LOA, and I try to really affirm her and build her up because she puts up with me. What would you say, like I'm not gonna, my branch is not probably gonna go take the disc profiles, but like what, and maybe I could ask my operations manager if that's
Stupid
something
coach
you
at
can-
the conference told you that.
Yeah. So ways to continue to, like maybe if you don't know all of these things about somebody, you go, hey, how can a D soften maybe a little bit to make sure that they continue to build that loyalty, trust, respect with their team?
Well, the first point I
Like
would
how do you
mention,
soften yourself to go, hey, I'm not gonna like beat the crap out of everybody because I'm
Practice.
so crazy.
I'm saying that.
Practice. I mean, in all seriousness, I messed this up so bad. I mean, it was compared to Godzilla in the past for multiple reasons. But I used to come off very strong. I used to type with capital letters when I was excited. What did everybody think I was doing? Yelling at them. No, I was talking like this. So, but you have to learn to adapt to the people that you're talking to, and it's one of the skills that is very valuable, is to be able to be a chameleon. And you have to be able to adjust to the person that you're talking to. And again, who controls the conversation? Person asking the questions. Okay, ask more questions, be more curious, get in there a little bit more, and it'll help lead you to the right path with communication with them in most cases. Agree, disagree?
let me just add one more thing. So first of all, you need your own disc, but I see no reason why you shouldn't have this on every single person on your team. Like that's just the best thing to do. Here is what I want you to be aware of, is always if you know your profile, and like Stephen has done a great job of demonstrating it, I would say, hey, some people think I'm really a jerk, especially when I try to make people do stuff like this. They soften up. They're like, oh. Does that make sense what I just said?
Now, I'll tell you, leaning into the love languages too, that person just might need a lot of words of affirmation. Might
Well,
need
I
you to
know
spend
I'm
some
a
more
words
time.
person, so I would give words
So-
back.
right.
But that's not always how they.
It could be the mistake.
Yeah.
So one of the things I would love for you guys to do when you go back to your offices, have everybody take the dang tests, as your stupid coach told you to do it, and then put it on their door. That was when I had a physical office, which I liquidated last year. I love it. I would walk by and I would see that Spencer's quality time, words of affirmation. Those are his top two, and I always put the top two. Yes.
For the love languages, is that built into like this test, or is that
No,
you just
separate.
you ask them, or you?
No. There's an online test.
Online test?
Yeah, there's one for business, there's one for personal. I would suggest, in all seriousness, if you guys are in a relationship, both of you do it. Thank you, honey. I'm going to get a cookie when I go home. So, go ahead.
So, talking about the love languages, so quality time, would that, like, I'm assuming that would also be, like, you mentioned, like, training, hands-on, stuff like that. I'm assuming that would also apply to, like, team events and, like, stuff like that. Okay, great. All right, so, talking about adaptability, because we were talking about, she brought up, her craziness, and she's, so, being adaptable, like, going back to hiring someone with the same love language, how critical does that become if you've got the awareness to be adaptable and say, okay, like, I normally give my love language back, but I'm aware enough to the point where I can cater to other people's love language. And I would imagine that just becomes a little bit
It becomes
less.
second nature after you're doing it for a while. So you just have to practice, drill, rehearse, PDR. You just have to consistently do stuff and get used to doing it and be conscientious when you're talking with, your teammates.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment really quick. I don't know if you guys don't know me, I look exactly like him. I'm his daughter.
You are much better looking.
Much better.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I do want to say that a lot of people say like they don't see the point of their team or they don't think their team. I did my disc test when I was 12, I think. My brother has a disc test, my mom has a disc test. I retook it later in my life. It was just very natural for my entire family to do disc, and it's how I saw my entire life. And just come from them with that empathetic, like, I just want to understand you better. That's when my dad came to me. He's like, I want you to take this so I know how to talk to you better and I can be a better parent. So It just makes sense to me.
And this helped you know how to deal with your friends as well.
It was a big thing. I remember very distinctly, I was hanging out with my friend alone at the mall one time when I was like 9 possibly. And this was my first time hanging out one-on-one with her. And my dad picks me up and he's taking me home, and he had just dropped her off, so he got to spend some time with her. He turns to me the minute she leaves the car, he goes, what is her disc? And I was like, well, I think she's an S&C. And he goes, okay, why do you think that? And I'm like, well, when we were talking about her homework, she was telling me how much of a procrastinator she is because she wants all the details to be perfect. So she's very slow in turning in her homework, which means that when we were talking, she spoke a lot slower than I do. And when I was responding to her, I'd have to repeat it because I was going too fast for her. And so that was a big part of me growing up, was learning my friend's disc.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So one of the things that I really love doing is I love trying to find ways to identify disc without a test. So what are some good questions that you can ask someone to get a bit of a handle on the profile? Kind of like, just literally what you brought up there. It's great.
Thank you. So the best part about disc is you don't have to ask any questions. You can observe the person generally, and that's enough. Would that be easy, right? So here is a simple way. See how they talk and how they walk.
What if it's a Zoom? They talk.
Absolutely. If they talk fast and they sound friendly, they are an I. An I, influencing. If they talk fast, don't sound friendly, then they are a D. If they talk slow, if they talk slow and they sound friendly, that's an S. And if they talk slowly, mostly monotonously, and they don't sound friendly, like they're not reaching out to be warm and fuzzy, that's a C. So if they talk fast, walk fast, they're typically a D or an I, and so on and so forth. But I'm just giving you a very quick version of that. Because to me, just observing the behavior will be enough. Does that make sense to you? Like just observing the behavior. You have a point?
Wait for the mic.
Yes, Christy is getting a workout. She's a high I.
Would you say like, would you say like
A
type?
high I thanks you when you call them a high I.
You're welcome. You're fun to be around. Yes. Go ahead.
Would you say a type like A, B, like if somebody's type A, right? Like whether they have to have everything very like situated and straight. Would you say that would like corroborate more of like a type, like on the disc profile, like a high C or something like that, because they're so cautious and like they need everything very situated? Is there any relation or anything like that to type A, type B?
I don't know about the type A, type B. When people say type A, they're usually Ds. Because type A's are take charge, get things done. Is that what your impression of type A is?
No, I think type A.
Like on like type A is like, yeah, type A personality. Like type A is like very yeah.
Okay, OCD might be a C, but
on time, like all of the and type B is like very relaxed and like late to things and stuff like that. Like I'm a type B. I'm like a little bit late.
So you want structure, right? You want to make sure things are done the right way. Is that what's important?
Well, it's weird because that's completely like in business I'm different than personal, but that's like a whole other thing.
Well, that's really not likely the case. You are the way you are. You are going to be in person or otherwise the same. It's not going to be very different. Again, you adapt is different. But again, here is what my daughter has taught me as well, is whenever you like something or are into something, you become OCD about it. Like she's a Swiftie. She knows everything about Swiftie, right? Everything about Taylor Swift and stuff. So if there's something you are into a lot, you suddenly become a high C in that regard. It's like you want everything about that, whatever that fascinates you. But in general, you're going to be the same person wherever you are. Because yes, there is an adapted style, which means under pressure, under certain circumstances, you adapt to a different behavior style, which can change over time period because of the environment that you are in and the expectations there are. So I don't know if that answers your question. We can talk offline.
This is actually a really good thing to talk about though too, because a lot of times when you guys are going to do your disc test, you're going to see natural and adaptive.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, you said something really wise the other day that if there's too big of a difference,
yes.
Go ahead and go through that again.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate it because I see some of the reports and the difference between the natural and adapted is huge, which simply means the person is in the wrong job most likely or going through a very stressful time. And that's the point. If you take assessment for your people now and you see there is a gap between natural and adapted and it is huge, something is off in the role that you've given them. Or something may be going on in their personal life which is affecting them. Because that's a big advantage of taking the assessment.
What's big percent? Like 50%?
Good question. So on the ones that I take, usually if it is 9 points or higher difference, depending on the situation, I start to say, I need to pay attention why it is so different. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm glad this came out. So because again, Whitehire actually shows me both because I get a whole report.
Yeah.
Should there be, and I mean, when we talk about hiring, not existing team, should there be any weight put on adaptive? And if so, what would that look like?
Well, it's how they act under management. That's how I like to look at it. So if they drop under management, that can,
Right, like for instance, if, like it's an ideal LP2 profile,
on
right?
the natural side.
On the natural side, but it changes dramatically on the adaptive side, is that like a red flag?
Yes. Under pressure, that person's going to cause they're going to turn into a puppy in a lot of cases. Because you're really going to like them, you're going to see the potential in them, all that's going to flow. But then when you start putting pressure under them and managing them and leading them a little bit, they start breaking.
So would you say that in an ideal world, we want to see a relatively minimal variation between the two?
Yeah, under ideal circumstances, that's exactly what I would look for. Again, it depends on the situations where they were in and all that kind of stuff, but in general, if you want to take less risk.
Well, and just a quick follow-up on that, but could that also mean that the leadership they have right now is horrible?
Could be. Exactly.
So if you feel like you're a really strong leader, that may be less of a red flag.
Go ahead, somebody had a question there.
On a granular level, very granular. In the past, when I worked under a manager, a production manager, I get addressed one of few ways. They'd say, "Oh, he works for me," in a public setting, and in other cases, my manager at one point, another guy, a better leader, said, "I work for you. You're a salesperson. You can go work anywhere you want. I have to prove myself to you." So that was very interesting. He said that. I didn't like the way my first manager said that he works for me. And what I've been saying that's been working for me, and then maybe you can correct me, or I can hear the one-liner from you guys, is something like, he works with me. Like my loan officer works with me. Is that like that middle ground right answer, or is that?
I will never say someone works for me. Okay. It's the biggest insult as far as I'm concerned. Of a teammate, because we just called them a teammate, but they work for us. So work with always. And there's nothing wrong with servant leadership. Being able to say to my loan officers that here, I work for you. In essence, I'm here to help you grow and help build you. So I mean, there's something good on that side of things as well. But you work for me. No, that'll never work well for anybody.
My branch manager refers to he's my branch partner. That's what he is. He's my branch partner. But he's introduced me on introduced.
Words are important. I mean, the feeling of the entire conversation changes depending on what words you choose to use.
Do you feel as though commending an employee too often, too much drowns out, or you pick and choose your spots based on what?
Choose, otherwise they get inflated heads, and you lose them easily on that side too. Depending on who they are, words of affirmation need consistency. Okay, but quality time or some of the other things, acts of service, they don't need it at all, and then you inflate their ego to a point that might pop the bubble for you. So you got to pick and choose on those.
So based upon what your definition of a puppy is, how would that fit in the percentages on the disc test?
Good question. There's a lot of eye in it.
A lot of eye.
A lot of eye in it. I've hired a lot of high eyes because they're so awesome to be around. They really are.
What time do we end? What time do we end? I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
we got 5 minutes. Yep, we got 5 minutes.
Okay. You want to give away a couple of books?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now here's the question. If we are giving away so many goodies, like I said, I'm going to give away generously the book and all the other stuff. Can we
12.
do we do the 10?
12. 15. 20. See, we're gonna double up. We're gonna do all the other classes by far.
I did 50. I get a book.
You already got a go-getter award. You're out. All right, cool. So, all right. Here's how I'm gonna give these last 2 away. Books down, closed. What is a D's greatest fear? One of their greatest fears. All right, first stand up. Losing control. All right, get to another one here. What is a I's greatest fear?
Not being recruited.
We'll take it. Social rejection. She didn't raise her hand, so I have to ask another question. All right, guys. So as time goes on, I am going to be developing some modules for Circle, 4-disc. Something that me and Amir have talked about a number of times. If you guys ever need to send me one in the meantime, feel free. I'm happy to give you a quick opinion on it. And lean into Minesh and get to know him because, I mean, he is an absolute brilliant resource. Brilliant resource.
Thank you.
You got one more question? Let's slip one more in. Oh, 2 more questions.
So I'm not in the loan industry whatsoever and all that, but we're talking about like employees here and all that. So a lot of our employees, they're great at communicating with us, talking with us, and talking behind the screen when it comes to talking to their clients directly one-on-one, more so specifically like messaging. But as soon as it comes to actually like talking to them, like on Zoom calls or something, they go quiet. Any suggestions there as far as like getting them to like stand out? Because they have that quality, especially when they talk to me. But then when it comes to the client, they just like go quiet.
So who controls the conversation?
It should be them, not the
Person
client.
asking the questions.
Yeah.
So they need to be armed with good questions to engage conversation so they do less talking. They don't feel as pressure to have to speak so much, and they can just lead the conversation. So that's with any personality, quite frankly. But if they freeze when they're in front of somebody, it's because they feel silly.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do next. So just teach them questions. Have just a list. I have a list of go-to conversation questions, always ready for my team to be able to engage with conversation.
I love that.
Let me add to that. So obviously having what to do, what to say is important. Just remember, IS will feel comfortable talking to people that they are already familiar with. Number 1. Number 2, they feel they are coming from a place of service. So if you can teach them through questions and through this process that I just mentioned to you, that they are coming to that person with service idea, they're open to talking to that person. Is that making sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Thank you guys so much.
Last question over here. Please.
So most of us probably work in decentralized environments. We're not face to face with other people anymore. How do you apply the love languages when you don't actually ever see, or mostly don't see people physically? Like one thing I've done is establish a team channel for kudos with my team, just where we can praise each other. Everybody can. What other applications in a decentralized system would you
Say, so quality time is video time.
Right.
Okay, so you spend some time, like I have, my assistant Dre is in the Philippines. He is quality time. I have to spend time with them on teams all the time, coaching them and training them. And that makes them feel very happy and very loved in the workplace. Physical touch, you ain't gonna do it. Right. That's not the big deal one at all. So words of affirmation, easy. Acts of service. They want help the same way that we would want help in some way. So show them that you're getting them the assistance that they need. There's ways to get across that. Okay. Cool. All right, guys.
Before we wrap up, please give a round of applause because without Steve, I couldn't have done this.
High five.
Yes.
All right, guys, if you would please take the time, buzz the QR code on your table.
Yes.
Rate the class as 10, and then in the notes, please put should have been a 12, 15, 20, 2,000. We greatly appreciate it. But guys, God bless. Really enjoyed doing this class for you today.